Welcome back to GameVault HQ. Today, we're diving right into a game that's been on our radar for quite some time. Ys 10 Nordics. The latest installment in the Ys series takes Adol Christin on a fresh adventure, and let's just say it's packed with excitement, exploration, and some unexpected twists that keep things engaging. Let's get right into what makes this game tick, and whether it's worth your time and money. Ys 10 Nordics brings us back to that classic action RPG feel, but with some new tricks up its sleeve. Notably, the game introduces the cross-action system and the release line customization mechanic, which add new layers to both combat and character progression, differentiating it from previous entries. This time, Adol is exploring the northern seas, which means a lot of sailing, island hopping, and battles against seafaring enemies. One thing I loved right away was the nautical theme. It's a perfect fit for the Ys franchise, giving us new environments that feel alive and different from previous entries. The waters, islands, and Viking-inspired culture of the local people bring a fresh atmosphere, and there's something exhilarating about navigating those dangerous waters with Adol and his new allies. Combat, as always, is a highlight in Ys 10. It feels smoother and more polished compared to Ys 9. The introduction of the new cross-action system is a game changer, literally. Unlike the previous games that relied on distinct weapon types like strike, slash, and pierce, Ys 10 replaces this with a more flexible approach where players can switch between solo mode and combination mode, allowing for greater control and variety during combat. You can switch between two different styles: solo mode, where Adol and his partner fight independently, and combination mode, which lets you control both characters at once for more powerful attacks. In solo mode, only the player-controlled character can be harmed, adding a strategic element to when you decide to switch. In combination mode, Adol and Karja synchronize their attacks, and defensive play can trigger powerful counters if timed correctly. The new break mechanic also replaces the previous strike/pierce system, requiring you to deplete an enemy's armor before dealing significant HP damage. This feature keeps combat feeling dynamic, and it's a lot of fun to experiment with different approaches depending on the enemies you face. The exploration in Ys 10 also stands out. Sailing between islands feels natural and fluid, and there's a real sense of discovery when you stumble upon hidden coves or unmarked territories, like the mysterious shipwreck I found off the coast of one of the smaller islands, which led to a rewarding treasure hunt. I found myself losing track of time, just sailing around, looking for the next adventure. However, it's worth mentioning that the sailing mechanics can feel a bit slow and clunky at times, especially when maneuvering in tighter areas. While the nautical theme adds variety, the naval combat doesn't quite match the high energy of the on-foot combat, and it can feel simplistic in comparison. Despite these issues, the game rewards exploration with treasures, new enemies, and some stunning vistas. Each island has its own story, culture, and secrets, which makes exploring them all the more rewarding. One of the areas where Ys 10 shines is its story. It's a bit more personal this time around, with Adol forming strong connections with the local inhabitants and dealing with their struggles firsthand. There's a real focus on character development, especially with Karja, Adol's new partner in this adventure. Her background, motivations, and evolving relationship with Adol are well written, and it's easy to get invested in her story. The plot itself is straightforward but engaging, with plenty of twists to keep things interesting without becoming convoluted. These twists keep players invested without overwhelming them, offering unexpected turns that deepen the story without revealing too much up front. It's that simplicity that gives the story its charm. It doesn't try to overcomplicate things, and instead focuses on delivering a heartfelt and adventurous tale. Visually, Ys 10 looks fantastic. The art style has always been a defining feature of the Ys series, and this entry is no different. The vibrant colors of the islands, the detailed character models, and the fluid animations all contribute to a visually pleasing experience. One particularly memorable moment is the sunset view from a cliffside, which perfectly captures the adventurous spirit of the game. The music, composed by Falcom sound team JDK, is another standout aspect. The soundtrack perfectly complements the high-energy combat and the serene moments of exploration. One standout track is the intense battle theme that really pumps up the adrenaline during boss fights, while the more melodic tunes during exploration create a peaceful atmosphere. The tracks are memorable, and they do a great job of immersing you in the world, whether you're in the middle of a fierce battle or watching the sun set over the ocean. However, Ys 10 isn't without its flaws. Some of the side quests feel like padding, fetch quests that don't add much to the overall experience. While the main story and characters are engaging, some of these side activities feel repetitive and can break the flow of the game. Additionally, as mentioned earlier, the sailing mechanics can occasionally feel a bit clunky, and the naval combat lacks the intensity that fans might expect from the Ys series. These issues don't ruin the game by any means, but they're worth mentioning for anyone who might be on the fence. In terms of difficulty, Ys 10 offers a challenge that feels fair but demanding. The boss fights, in particular, are highlights, requiring you to learn attack patterns and time your moves precisely. They're tough but rewarding, and beating a boss after several attempts gives you that classic feeling of triumph. For newcomers, there are easier difficulty settings that make the game more accessible, while veterans can opt for the harder modes that offer a real test of skill. It's nice to see a game that caters to different types of players without compromising on its core experience. One of the things that stands out about Ys 10 is how it respects the legacy of the series while pushing forward with new ideas. The game captures the adventurous spirit of Ys, and longtime fans will appreciate the familiar elements, like fast-paced combat and the focus on exploration, while enjoying the new features that keep it from feeling like a rehash of past titles. The release line system, which allows players to slot colored orbs into nodes for attribute boosts, is a new mechanic that adds depth to character customization. However, it may not be as engaging for everyone due to its somewhat cumbersome and time-consuming nature, and it can feel less impactful compared to more straightforward skill progression systems seen in other games. It's clear that Falcom knows what makes this series special, and they've managed to strike a balance between nostalgia and innovation. Overall, Ys 10 Nordics is a fantastic addition to the Ys franchise. It takes the elements that fans love, fast combat, exploration, and a sense of adventure, and adds enough new features to keep things feeling fresh. The story is engaging, the characters are memorable, and the world is a joy to explore. There are a few rough edges, like the occasional clunky sailing mechanics and some uninspired side quests, but they're minor issues in what is otherwise a highly enjoyable game. If you're a fan of action RPGs, Ys 10 is definitely worth checking out. We give Ys 10 Nordics a solid 8.5 out of 10. If you enjoyed this review, make sure to like the video and subscribe for more game reviews and content. Let us know your thoughts on Ys 10 in the comments below. Did it live up to your expectations? Thanks for watching, and see you in the next video.